right, guys, give Marquette credit. I thought Shaka and his kids played played well. Obviously, I'm sure they would have liked to shot it better, but their ability to get us on the glass and then turn us over some, which is kind of what they do, was the difference in the game. And then we just were not able to score to start the second half. We're not able to generate quality. We generated some quality looks, but not enough against their pressure defense. So been a couple games here where we're struggling a little bit with playmaking with Connor out, so we've got to figure those things out here quickly here. And proud of what our guys were able to do to get it manageable in the last 5 minutes and give ourselves a chance with it being at 3 possessions there a couple times. That was a really good finish there, 3 or 4 minute stretch before the 4-minute media. Really proud of that effort. And you're probably going to ask me about NJ and his injury, and right now I just don't have, I know our guys are. I don't really have an answer as to what the extent of his injury is. He just wasn't able to return.
It was tied 36-36. Marquette went on a little run. What did you see during that stretch that allowed them to take control?
I thought it was our inability to score, and then they got us in transition a couple times with their pace, just driving downhill. And more than anything, they drove us. They drove us. When they were able to get us in man more than the zone, they were able to drive us and get downhill. And then once we were able to stem the tide a little bit, we were able to generate some offense ourselves. But it was a byproduct of them playing well offensively and us struggling offensively.
Midway through the first half, you went from man to zone. Can you talk about that switch a little bit more?
Well, we were having trouble guarding them in the first. First game we had trouble guarding them in man as well, and we had to mix it up a lot in game one. I know Shock and his staff were prepared to see zone. They're a team that I think when they're making threes, they're one of the very best teams in the country because of their defense and their versatility. So we really tried to defend the 3-point line in man and zone. But they can also really attack you and spread you out. And I thought our zone was really effective for the bulk of the game. When we could get to it, it was really effective for us. But there was a stretch in the second half where we couldn't get to it because we were missing shots and they were out in transition.
Chris, how frustrating has it been when you have the defensive effort you've had the last couple times out, but you still haven't been able to buy a bucket, essentially? Yeah, no, it's been frustrating. I think what I have, and I think what our staff is realizing right now is for us to be in games right now, we are going to have a great defensive effort just because we're lacking some things offensively. And, even a guy like Troy, he's such a good ball mover and decision maker out there. Connor is Connor. We know about his impact on our offense. I think he was our leader in offensive efficiency. But Troy's ability in a game like tonight to make reads and slip in and out of ball screens, create offense, is a challenge. So our defensive effort has to be really, really good for us to, I think, have a chance. And it was tonight. It really was tonight. We just weren't able to make enough shots. And then in terms of the offense, is it too late in the season to get more creative and do different things because you've already started to install different types of motions that you like? Or is there still a little room to kind of change some things based on the players you don't have available?
Yeah, no, I think we've had such a different lineup. Against Marquette, it's hard to run a whole lot of stuff because of their pressure. So you can, you really need to be able to make plays. And you need multiple playmakers out there. But I think in terms of, we'll have to see what our lineup looks like next time out. And, I thought the quality of our shots against Villanova was a little better than it was tonight. But we also had some open looks tonight we just missed that if we're going to beat teams, we got to be able to make some of those. And we got to be able to make some at the free throw line. Any other questions?
I'll go again. Chris, when you take a look at this team and what this season has been, how do you start to, keep your guys engaged with the defensive effort after you've taken some Big East opponents all the way to the very end, but then you deal with some external forces like injuries? How do you kind of keep that competitive fight up?
That is really, I think, the biggest challenge for us. But
And I just told him that in there. That is also the expectation for us, is that if they are going to be a part of this program right now, they are going to compete until the final buzzer. They're going to play with effort and physicality and toughness until the final buzzer, or else they are not playing. And like that has to be what we're about right now as we're building this program. So it's the expectation, and if we don't see that, then we've got to find a group that does. For the most part, we've really seen that, despite having some, as you mentioned, some forces that are a little bit out of our controls with some of the injury issues we've had.
And then with David, because he is kind of having a little bit of a homecoming, did you leave that decision more up to him, just allowing him to play in his final year of eligibility?
He wanted to play in this particular game because he's from here. But I also thought the stretch we had to close in the second half to get it a manageable game to 8 to 10 points, I thought he had critical plays in that stretch, which was good to see. But yes, he did want to play in his home state, back home, and I think he had in his mind, tried to get his body ready for that. We'll see how he feels tomorrow.